Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord developer blog video. Today we're going to be checking out the developer blog for October 12th, 2017, which is going to be a Q&A with one of the graphic artists on the Tail Worlds team, Fatma, Nadide, Ocba. So let's go ahead and dive in. Blah 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 introduction. Again, she is from Turkey, joined Tail Worlds in 2013, so she's pretty much only worked on Bannerlord as far as I know, or maybe I don't know what else she would have worked on in the meantime. But yeah, probably Bannerlord exclusively. 2D or 3D graphic artist. Let's see. So we'll get into the meat of this, which is going to start with the question: what do you normally do during your, I assume, work day? My workflow consists of a number of steps to get an item from the design stage all the way through into the game. I start by doing extensive research for references, with the vast majority of these being historical items, and they could be anything: books, pens, horse harnesses, torches, you name it. Then I prepare sketches, or sometimes I photo bash. This is a process where I gather photos which have the right colors, angles, and references, and then paint over them. Following this, I get approval from the game directors and turn these into 3D models for use in the game. So it seems like the graphic artists for the Tail Worlds team are handling quite a bit of different stuff. With bigger development teams, you may have these jobs sort of split up. Like you'll have people doing exclusively research, and then you'll have concept artists, and then you'll have the graphic artists basically taking that concept art and turning it into a 3D product. And then you may even have people that are responsible just for implementing those into the game. But it sounds like at Tail Worlds, they're pretty much taking it all the way from A to Z, which is kind of interesting. But I imagine you get a little bit more consistency that way when you have like certain people and their vision sort of being applied all the way across the entire process, rather than it being sort of reimagined, re-envisioned over and over and over again all throughout the process. And so here we see some of their concept art for some like horse barding or armor. Got some pretty cool like horse headgear here. We have like this, I'm not sure what that part of the horse is called, because like a human it would be sort of like your forehead and the bridge of your nose, but on a horse that area is kind of bigger, and there's probably a more specific name for it. Anyway, some like horse head armor here. This one's got like the eyes covered, as does this one, and then we've got like some sort of like crest on the head, which is pretty cool. And then here we have, it looks like either chainmail or maybe scale. I think it's supposed to be chainmail. And then here is just like the front half with some chainmail, and then rather than chainmail all the way up the neck, it's like metal plates. Alright, so what do you like most about Bannerlord? I'm a big fan of the really nice level designs as well as the new game features. Each time there's a new shader, the game looks more beautiful. Also, when I saw the effects of the cloth physics for the first time, I was so hyped. Seeing the clothes and the armors move according to world physics was so satisfying. I love playing with the atmosphere settings. It makes the props look realistic. I love testing my horse harnesses with the atmosphere. They look so shiny, so precious. Salute to the engine coders and the technical artists. And so here we see a version of this horse armor in the game here. It looks like sort of a cross between, this almost looks more like scale. I would zoom it in for you, but I don't think OBS will pick it up if I do that. So we'll just have to kind of look at it here. And of course I'll have a link in the description so you guys can check this out for yourselves. But this looks like sort of a mashup of both of these. So it's sort of like this style with just the front half of the barding. But the scale or mail goes all the way up the neck rather than the plates here. And there we have it. And then rather than like a bronze sort of like horse helmet thing, I assume that's supposed to be bronze. This one looks to be steel or iron, probably steel. So what's the most difficult thing that you've solved so far during the production of Bannerlord? Sometimes the integration of assets into the game can cause some minor problems, but I think I had the most difficulty with skinning my horse armors. I didn't have much experience with skinning at the time, so it was somewhat challenging but fun. It was a somewhat challenging but fun learning experience. What is she currently working on? She is currently tearing castles into pieces right now for sieges. Isn't exactly the most fun process, especially when trying to break down wooden towers. However, she thinks players will really enjoy the end result when they're demolishing enemy towers. Okay, so she's working on the like destructivity of the terrain, so that we're in sieges and we're using like onagers and catapults and ballista and scorpions and whatnot. We can actually destroy the fortifications to assault them. So, what is her favorite faction? She likes the Aserai, which is like the precursor to the Sarranids. I love the Middle Eastern fairy tale feeling to the cities of this faction. Dreamy. Okay. I don't know that we've seen a whole lot of their architecture yet, other than maybe a couple screenshots. But if it's anything like the architecture for like the Sarranids, it's got like a real Aladdin vibe to it, like Disney's Aladdin in like my experience. I'm sure there's other sort of like references they pull on and stuff, but that was sort of like the first feeling I got looking at it. So during the design process, do you simply draw inspiration from out of the blue, or did you use existing historical fictional sources? And in either case, was it hard to stick to a certain personalized design and not copy too many elements from existing designs? As I said before, we tend to stick to historical influences for our designs, but as an artist, of course one would like to be creative, so I usually try to add small ideas and imprint my own personality onto the design. There are also cases that I have to be creative, especially when I can't find reasonable or enough resources for a functioning model, so I have to engineer it myself. And then here we see some more concept art. This looks like various bedroom things. We see some different like 4-post bed arrangements here. Some other furniture. Yeah, like furniture stuff, more beds. These don't look quite as fancy as the first ones. And then we have like banners and stuff hanging, some like skin drums or whatever, and then we get into like gravestones, kind of a weird assortment of stuff here. And that's the end of it. So really not a whole lot of info here, which is unfortunate. I was hoping we'd get a little bit more about the single player. They talked a bit about one specific element within single player last time, which was the influence system and how it worked related to like campaigns and armies. So I would like to see more about just diplomacy overall. There's also been rumors, and I don't know how well confirmed they've been, but there was talk of sort of like a death and inheritance system where AI and I think even the player lords can be killed, and they will have heirs that inherit their titles. So the player would basically create a second character as like the heir to their previous character and just kind of continue playing, but with a new face, or maybe a very similar face, depending on if you really liked your character. But we haven't really heard much, if anything at all, about it, and so I'd like to hear more about that. More about the fief system, which again is like fully customizable and upgradable now. You no longer have these definite villages, towns, and castles. Everything sort of starts from the same building block, and while there will be some fiefs significantly more built up than others in the game, anything can be upgraded to have like castle walls or stables or whatever you decide to put there, essentially. So the fief system seems to be really, really deep and customizable, but we haven't really seen much of it outside of just a couple of screenshots and videos, so that's something I'd like to hear more about. But I'll leave it here. Again, hopefully we get a little bit better information next time around. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I had a great time talking about some Bannerlord with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next one.